Waiting in the car again. I got a little time to kill. Think I'll make a little video. I was kicking around an idea. I was talking to my players because they seemed a little flustered with high fill. If they wanted to go somewhere else or whatever, or do something else, you know. I got mixed reviews back. Some people didn't answer, so. But I've been kicking around an idea. I've never done Drow Deep, and I do like dwarf themed stuff, so I was adding extra stuff to my high fill campaign, and I had some dwarf themed stuff that I was putting to the side to use later in a Drow Deep. So I brought it up, and then a couple people got excited. People like dwarves. I like dwarves. I probably got more stuff made for dwarves as house rules over the years than anything else, and I rarely ever play one. But I like dwarf themed stuff. I tried a Dark Citadel dwarf centric campaign, everybody playing dwarves, and the group of guys are locked into the idea you can't do anything without a wizard. So they really did not stick to the dwarf theme as hardcore as I would like. Plus I was using the old school essentials, and some of those classes from the Carcass Crawler weren't meshing as I like, but with Dragon Slayer, I might tinker with it a little bit. And this borders on heresy. But think about letting dwarves have paladins. They can be a fighter, they can be a cleric, and a paladin is a hybrid. So it's a hybrid of dwarf cleric. So, I mean, fighter and cleric. So I don't see why not. And I think about making them either an average of the cleric and fighter cap, which I have to double check. And threw that out there, and people really like the idea in my group. I just kind of want to see a Dwarven Thrower Holy Avenger. I just think that'd be hilarious. Like, that's going to wreck. That's going to wreck some stuff. And since I went over the Drow Deep stuff in the back of my head, and I was going, this and the extra add-ons, unless I yank stuff out, if I have a 5 to 7 man group of all dwarves, it is very possible they all could have Dwarven Throwers. I'm just imagining that. And with Dragon Slayer, you can cleave with hurled weapons. So the fighters could theoretically hurl those hammers and like have them bouncing off people like Captain America's shield. I think that's pretty cool because it's 2d6. It's going to hit as hard as a two-handed sword in the game with a range of 30. So if they all can throw, that'd be bad. That'd be real bad. I still got to worry about throwing into melee though. And I got to double check and see if a Dwarven Thrower does the 2d6 when you use it in melee. I don't think they do. So you'll see these guys kind of spacing out so they can throw hammers at everybody. That would be interesting. Since they can't be magic users, you'll see a lot of clerics. Which is always good. People underestimate the cleric. Cleric is awesome. If you got multiples, you don't worry about hordes of undead as much. I don't foresee regular thieves. I think I'd be fighter thieves. So the thief progression to be slowed, or at least offset. Just something kicking around. Thought it'd be neat. Could bring back the old bread mead and some specialized dwarf equipment like. See, in the series that Dragon series, the dwarves are the ones that use mithril. So it's not the elves that do all the fancy light stuff. It's actually the dwarves. Going back to Tolkien, right? It's more of a Tolkien-esque thing. Been kicking it around today, so I started, and my intent was to have all of the Gillespie Mega Dungeons loaded up into my Roll20 so I could run any of them in a drop of a hat. And I hadn't done Drow Deep yet, or the Caverns of Archaea, mainly because the maps of Archaea are kind of are going to have to be reworked a little bit to get them all uploaded. But otherwise, I don't know. Plus, I have like a half-dozen Dwarven themed mine adventures, and it would give me an excuse to run a glory hole Dwarven mine from Judges Guild, which I've never ran. I don't know if that would mesh well. I think I might save that for a Judges Guild City State of the Invincible Overlord campaign. Go pure old school one time with an Overlord, pure Judges Guild stuff and homebrew, and dig through my other mine stuff for the dwarves, which Dwarven borders on being an, it actually doesn't border, it is an homage to Descent in the Depths of the Earth. And then I could slide in against the giants very easily into that area. So once they start getting towards name level and capping out, then just go Dwarven, just go dwarf giant hunting. I think that's what I do. I think that's what I do. Maybe I'll just use the basic fantasy giants version of giants instead of the TSR. Change it up a little bit. Although I got Thaco's hammers, all those extra ones for the giants that they did. But that's a long plan out. Just running once a week, 2.5, 3 hours. Because that's years of material. But yeah, sometimes you guys throw an idea out and it starts to snowball. Work on it. Or just work on it on the side. Players are fickle. TPKs happen. That's what got me thinking about having a backup thing to go, is because they've really tempted fate. And a simple surprise round with giant exoskeleton undead ants looked like it might have been wiped. And I was like, what are we going to do if they do TPK? Starting over at first level with the progression in high fail, would have been rough. So I got some finagling to do. But anyway, game well, game often. Y'all have a good day.